Okay, we're live and we're recording. We'll start tonight's meeting with a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
one
one nation,
under God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to the February 3rd, 2022 Village Board meeting. And we get started with a motion to approve the minutes from January 20th, 2022. I see Megan and Andy. Any questions or changes? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. I'd say citizens' comments, but seeing nobody joined us tonight, we'll move on to trustees' comments. We'll start with Andy.
Just a question for Mike, Check. The stoplight on Oneida and Route 48 coming down the hill, if you're heading south on 48, it seems to have an early green light for 3-4 seconds. It happened a few months ago, then it went away. Now it's back again. People get out there, they don't know what to do, and nobody's moving when they're supposed to be. It's very confusing for apparently a lot of people. There's been a couple of close calls. I don't know if that's something the state's trying, or
I haven't been notified by anything, but I'll have people give DOT a call tomorrow. So it's in early green as you're heading south.
Yeah, just south, not north, but just south, and it's split 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds, and people will pull out. It's just awkward.
So the southbound is green while the northbound is still red.
That's correct. And both the districts are red.
I'm wondering if that's for people to be able to turn onto Oneida Street, but I'll see if we can get any information from state DOT on that.
It'd be a cool feature if everybody knew about it. And
Yeah.
I think that would require an arrow. That's all I have.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks for bringing that up. Mike Shepard.
I'm going to call a brief executive session for a police procedural matter.
Personnel.
What's that?
Personnel matter.
Personnel? Okay, we'll call it that.
Okay.
Other than that, the agenda's fine.
All right. Thanks, Mike. That'll be item E. Next is Megan.
Just the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Next is Ruth Seco
Just the agenda, thank you.
and Bruce Stebbins.
I'd like to make sure all the trustees got the proposed water rate increases so that maybe we could act on it next board meeting.
Everybody received that?
I got him.
Anybody that didn't? Okay, then we can put that on the agenda for the next meeting, Bruce. Thank you.
Other than that, I'll stick to the agenda.
Okay. I've got a few things. Just to let people know, we are aware that the traffic light at Downer and Frawley is not functioning the normal way, that it's blinking all the time. And we are working on trying to get the proper people to take care of it. And right now it's not really a big issue. It's just different. It's yellow blinking on Downer Street. It's red on Frawley, which keeps the traffic moving on the busier of the two streets. So we are trying to take a look at it. We have an election coming March 15th, just to remind people, kind of put that on their calendar. Mo, what will be the procedure for absentee ballots, just to remind people?
Well, they can start picking up the absentee application now. And then once we have a ballot, we will send it out. And I believe they have, even in person, they can, if they want, they can pick it up even the day before the election.
Okay.
And fill it out right then. But otherwise, there are some deadlines, but early March.
Okay, good. Just to get people thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
And with that, I know that 2 candidates who are up that are going to be on the ballot are, one's a member of the planning board, one's a member of the zoning board. If they get elected, there will be at least one opening on each of those boards, And later on the agenda, we have another planning board member stepping down. So if people in the community looking to get involved with the village, the planning board is a very interesting way to go, because you get in on all the plans for any development that's going on in the village. Code changes, things like that get run by the planning board. So it's pretty interesting. Zoning board, you're a bit more like a court member, hearing a case from somebody who's appealing a planning board decision or a code office decision that they don't agree with, and they're challenging it in front of the zoning board, who then has to consider what's right and what's legal and make a decision. So if anybody out there is interested in getting involved with the village at a starting level like that, please contact me, contact Village Hall, so we can get your name and see if it's a good fit for both of us. Had a good story, I thought, the other day. I had told Chuck about it. I wanted to repeat it. I got a message in the morning from a person I've known for a long time. Our mailbox got wiped out by a DPW plow this morning. Is there any chance they can fix it? I don't really physically have the tools to be out putting them into a frozen ground, a new pole if it needs it, and so on. So I said, I believe that's our policy, is to put a standard mailbox up. If you had a fancy mailbox, you're not going to have a fancy one right away. It's going to just be a mailbox. Okay, that's good enough. So I tell Chuck that I've had this contact with a person, and he said, all right, I'll get somebody to go take a look at it. And in the meantime, I get a message from the person saying, well, thanks a lot. I said, why? He said, DPW was here and replaced the mailbox already. I said, I just told Chuck, how could they even know about it? So then I talked to Chuck, and he said, whoever did it knew that they had wiped out a mailbox. And so they went up to the shop, grabbed the mailbox, and went back and replaced it. We had a citizen who was absolutely thrilled. Now I'm going to pay my village taxes, he said, this year, because I feel like I'm part of the village. But I told Chuck to tell the guys, it's that kind of stuff. And the same with the police department, with the little things that get done reflect on our village so big that you just don't understand the impact of the small gestures. And as a mayor, I certainly love to hear that kind of stuff. And, I constantly get told that our village streets are plowed better than any of the streets that people have to drive on once they leave the village. So I've heard that for years. I heard it 25 years ago. I still hear it. Makes me feel very proud. So I passed that on to Chuck. I hope he could relay that on to the people that may have been involved, to know that they made somebody in the village happy and very impressed with the speed with which it got done.
We definitely do that, and it's kind of funny because the drivers know, they usually know when they hit them. The wingman does, and that particular incident, I never heard about it. It was done before I heard it. And so they got back when they got back from making their pass, they went right back out, fixed it, and it was done.
That's great.
So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yep.
We are still waiting for a contract from the county for the Main Street facade grant that was approved back, November sometime. People are anxious to line up contractors. They're not supposed to do that until we have signed the contract and the county executive has signed it. And we have the signed contract back in our possession. So every day, we got a message that it sounds like maybe everything has been taken care of from the legal point of view. That's where it was, in front of the legal people, making sure the contract would stand up. And we're just waiting now for them to, this is going to be one of those where I sign it on the screen, it's kind of cool. It's no paper exchange. It's all computerized. And it would be very nice to get our businesses headed in that direction. There's still a couple from the last grant still working because they couldn't get contractors during COVID. So I apparently must have made a mistake. I know that most of you probably don't think that's likely, but last meeting I mentioned the COVID tests and how to get them. And I must have said covidtest.com, and it's covidtest.org, if I did say .com. So if you want those free test kits from the government, you go on a site called covidtest.org. And you can get
It's .gov.
it's .gov. Oh. I'm on a bad
You're on a
slide.
roll.
All right, so that's covidtest.gov. .gov, G-O-V. I believe it's right on our Facebook site. And I wanted to mention also along with that stuff with the mailbox getting knocked off, the newsletter that the DPW has that's on our website. I've also copied it and put it on our Facebook site, actually has the information on how you go about getting your mailbox fixed if it gets knocked off. It also has a lot of other information for people in the community on brush pickup, on overnight parking restrictions. So good place to go check and look, and you find out some things you did not know that go on in the village and make you just that much smarter. And just to let everybody know that despite the bad storm situation we might be facing, I've been getting seed catalogs in the mail. So gardening can't be too far away. They're trying to sell me seeds just around the corner. Right, Chuck?
That's right. A month and a half away.
All right. I think that's all I have. We'll turn to the department heads.
Mayor, before
Yes.
you go on, we did have a Facebook question.
Okay.
Back to the planning board. Someone was asking what the qualifications we're looking for planning board participation.
Greg, you want to enlighten people?
For the planning board, you've got to be a resident of the village of Baldwinsville. And you've got to be appointed by the board and the mayor to that, to the planning board. That's, I believe, all the qualifications. There are some training requirements of 4 hours of training per year, and we're trying to get those done in our regular meetings now.
So if somebody thinks that they have, I mean, it's not like you have to have a degree or training ahead of time. So if somebody's interested, they can call me, they can call Greg and, give us their information. Usually people send us a one paragraph resume. I used to work at the county DOT, blah, 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 blah. Then we have a little bit of an idea who we're talking to. But there's not like a lot of restrictions. So hopefully.
I was gonna say, for this type of board, I mean, you're really looking for a cross-section of the community. You don't just want a certain type of education or a certain type of degree, I guess. You don't want all engineers. You don't want all architects. You don't want all whatever. You want, people that are concerned for the village. They have knowledge of their village and, want to make sure that the village stays a place that they want to live in.
Very good. Okay, I hope that takes care of the question, Meg. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yep.
Okay, we'll start with our attorney, Joe.
I'll stick with the agenda. Good seeing you, Alla.
Okay, nice to see you. Code Officer Greg.
Just want to remind everyone that as we are having more snow, that village residents are required to clear the sidewalks that are adjacent to their properties. So sidewalks along the roadways, if those are adjacent to your property, you are required to shovel those within 24 hours after snowfall. Right now we're having snowfall for a day and a half. So, Saturday, Sunday, those sidewalks should be pretty well cleared.
Very good. Anything else?
That's it for now.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Village Clerk, Mo.
I just wanted to let everyone know that the tax information was sent to the county for processing. So people should have their village tax bills in their mailboxes by March 1st. They're payable by April 1st without penalty. And regarding the absentee ballots applications, you could stop in Village Hall or give us a call and one will be mailed to you. And I think that's about it.
Okay, thanks, Mo. Next up, Treasurer, Mr. Baker.
Nothing except if there's questions, or I'll stick to the agenda.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Senior Center, Ruth.
We have distributed all of the test kits that we had on hand, but we still do have masks. So if you would like some N95 masks, we do have those. Also, in light of the current weather situation, I'm going to try to clarify closings as they apply to the senior center. You may be more confused when I get done, but I'm going to try to clarify it. The Bville Express transportation program does not run if the Baldwinsville schools are closed. So the Bville Express transportation does not run if the Bville schools are closed. The senior lunch program through Peace Incorporated is not open if the Syracuse City schools are closed. Okay. The senior center itself does not close unless the village of Baldwinsville closes. So the center is open, but you should use your own best judgment about whether it's safe for you to be out based on where you need to come from and so on. So hopefully that helps. I know it gets a little confusing, but that's the situation. And other than that, unless anybody has any questions.
Very good. Thanks, Ruth.
Yep.
Public Works, Mr. McAuliffe.
Yep, the Dome Well project out there on 370, they've been working out there for a few weeks now. We finally, we had a lot of different calls on because it looks like there's a crane out there and the wells are 80 feet in the ground and they were doing some service work on 2 of them. They're back in service. They did a great job. We're happy to have that plant back running again. We had a water main break on Oneida Street yesterday, or a water service break. So that street was, parts of that street was closed down for most of the day. The guys got it in there, got that taken care of quickly. The big chill this weekend went great. We got Mercer Park closed back down again. Got the bath because we had to get the bathrooms opened up, and it's kind of a challenge because that's not an insulated building. But we got it opened up and it took like 3 days to get the water running just to heat it up. But it worked well. And when they left, the Big Chill partners with the Rotary. And when they left, the place was spotless. Well, the dealings that we have with the Rotary, whenever they have anything, they have a lot of manpower, and the place looked great. We had some issues when they first started. They had a smaller heater. And I was talking to Matt, the gentleman that runs it, and we were in there earlier on. They had a bunch of ice, and the Rotary guys came in, and they just, boy, it made a big difference. But it was a great event. And I think it was good for the businesses. The pub crawl later on went great. We get in, we get all our Christmas lights are down now. We left the snowflakes up until the chill every year. So the next day they came down. So that was a good weekend. Things went well. We're really not picking Christmas trees up anymore, but there's been a couple here and there, and we've grabbed them. I mean, and we're definitely not doing brush. We're still getting calls to come out and do brush. Other than that, unless there's questions, we're good to go.
Any questions for Chuck?
No, but could I give Ruth an update? According to Syracuse.com, Baldwinsville's closed tomorrow and Syracuse is closed tomorrow. So that should remove any confusion from anybody.
And we haven't made any decisions on Village. So
We're not closing.
We ain't closed yet.
now we sometimes we close early, but all right. And then now we're down to the police. Chief Leffencheck.
Police department will not be closed.
That's good. Thank you.
Good.
Other than that, I will stick with the agenda.
Okay. Very good. No pending business. We'll move on to new business. Item A. Oh, I want to add a executive session item F. That will be contract update. Okay. With the police. Back to the new business. Item A, can I get a motion to accept the retirement with regret of planning board member Gary Peterson effective February 2nd, 2022? Megan, get a second from Ruth. Talked with Gary the other day, he was very disappointed, but it's, besides running the sports bowl, he has a construction business and he coaches the bowling teams at the school. He's a busy guy and he understands the push for more training with the planning board. And it's just hard for him to commit the time. And he was very disappointed that he had to step down, but thanked us for the opportunity, felt it was a great opportunity. As Greg said, it's nice to have a balance, and we did have a business guy. So when people were talking about planning stuff and it's affecting a business, he's got a little different take on it than an engineer has, or a housewife, or whoever. So again, we are looking for replacements for the planning board and zoning board, so please contact us. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Item B, can I get a motion to reimburse the Water System Reserve Fund $15,513 that was used for a water main break replacement on East Genesee Street? The original transfer was approved July 16th, 2020, resolution number 61//2020.
Make the motion.
Yeah, Bruce. A second from Mike Shepherd. Any questions?
Not sure why it's taken us this long.
I think it just got lost in the shuffle. So we have a motion in a second. All
I understand why we went into the reserve. I no longer remember why we didn't use our fund balance. It's only $15,000.
That was my question too, and Anna couldn't remember why, but I said the same thing. Why did we even do that?
Probably it was COVID.
Yeah, probably by mistake.
Right.
All right, so we have a motion in a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item C, get motion to approve St. Mary's request to sell beer and wine at their annual Lenten fish dinners on the following dates in 2022: March 4th, March 11th, March 18th, March 25th, April 1st, and April 8th.
Move.
Megan and Andy, just, you should have had a communication. We have a letter from the chief saying he has no issues with that. And apparently the state has asked for the village board to concur and follow with apparently a letter of our own that says the same thing. So this is what we're voting on. No,
Is this a new feature of their fish dinners? I don't.
what's that?
I said, is this a new feature of the fish dinners?
No,
I don't
no.
believe so.
Not
No,
new.
It's just a new request from the state.
no, they've been serving alcohol for probably 30 years at least. And John Balone and Dan Warner and myself have always written a letter to the State Liquor Authority. I was surprised when I saw it on the agenda because it's never had to make its way to the agenda before. Usually a letter from me suffices, but I certainly have no issues with this. There's never been a problem.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Item D, can I get a motion to approve levying the real property tax for the year 2022, 2023 with a tax rate for the Lysander and Van Buren portions of the village to be $7.19 per thousand, and also levying of the water and sewer arrears in the amount of $124,222.67. The exemptions left unpaid from prior sales in the amount of $444.21. The unpaid cleanup charges in the amount of $225. The unpaid code fees in the amount of $1,425, and a sidewalk replacement project in the amount of $9,200.28. Mike Shepherd. Get a second, Ruth Seco. This is kind of a lot of catching up and hopefully getting some money back that we have coming to us and setting the tax rate. A lot in one motion. Any comment, Mo?
No, this is just we do it every year just basically to get approval to send it to the county and start processing the tax bills.
Very good. And I hope people will notice that I think our tax rate coming in was $7.52 a thousand. And now it's $7.19 a thousand. So we worked very hard with our budget to realize that people were out at work. Some people were having trouble, just putting food on the table, paying rent, making house payments and all that type of stuff. So we were very careful to try to keep everything tight, and we actually cut it back quite a bit. That's a significant amount for us. And I hope that people will realize when they get their tax bill that the village board kept their interests at heart. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. We're going to go to executive session. Is there anything else that anybody would like to bring up in front of the board before we go to executive session, of which no action is anticipated? Seeing none, can I get a motion to move into executive session for police personnel issue and police contract update? Got Ruth and Mike Shepherd. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.